So I stopped listening to people like Dr. Reuben West, and I stopped listening to Dr. Cheryl Wood and Mr. Les Brown. Why? Because I knew that if I continued to listen to them, just maybe, just maybe I might believe them. I know we have a lot of Kansas City fans in the house, I know. So I'm sitting there, I get into his car, and guess what he's doing? He's listening to motivational messages. I said, I don't want to hear this. So I couldn't turn his radio off, right? Because guess what? When you when you get into someone else's car, you better not touch the radio. That's dangerous. So I was forced to sit there and listen to my mentor, Mr. Les Brown. He was sitting there and he said, I choose not to be a common man. It is my right to be uncommon if I can. I seek opportunities and not security. I do not wish to just be a kept citizen, humble and dull by having the state look after me. No. I want to take the calculated risk to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. He said, I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, to the thrill of fulfillment, to the sales of utopia. He said, I will never cower before any master, nor will I bend to any threat. Because it is my heritage and my privilege to stand proud and erect and say boldly before God that with God's help, this I have done. Now at that moment, I became excited. I said, woo! I said, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. How many of you have heard a word that excited you and you said, yes, I can? Raise your hand and say, I. Say, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Say, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Say, yes, I can. Yes, I can. And I believed him. I believed every word that he said, not only because of his word, but because of what I believed in my heart. So this afternoon, I'm going to share with you 3 points in order to help you to realize your yes, you can. Number 1, you must recondition your mind. Say, recondition my mind. Recondition my mind. You see, when you recondition your mind, what it's saying is that at some point in time, your mind was renewed and it was transformed. I heard this story about these dogs, these scientists, and they wanted to find out how long it take animal to just give up. And they take this dog and they put him on a leash, they take him out there, they put this big, huge stake out there. And if you know anything about a dog and a stake, they will go crazy, right? So the dog is there and he's doing everything to get to that stake. He's barking, he's growling, he's pulling, but he cannot get to that stake. And they take him out on the second day, they put the dog on the leash, they take him out there, they put the stake out there, and again, he does everything he could to get to that stake. But he could not get to that stake. So they do it on the third and the fourth day. Same thing, no results. But on that fourth day, they realized something. That the dog was no longer going after that stake. His mind had been conditioned. So he said, well, let's do this. Let's do the ultimate thing. Let's take the dog off the leash. Who can tell me what happened? He did something worse. He stepped away. How many times have someone came into your life, they want like Brenda? How many times you come into your life, people come into your life, and they want to help you to get to your next level? And rather than moving forward, guess what we do? We step away. How many times have you have had the opportunity to take part in a book project that's going to make you an international bestseller, but because you have listened to someone else and you listen to your own negative mindset, guess what you do? Step away. Never allow someone else to hold the pen that writes the script to your life. Say that again. Never allow someone else to hold the pen that writes the script to your life, because only you control your story. The second thing is that you must utilize your gifts and your talents. Some of us have that ability to start multi-businesses and become multi-millionaires. But because we have allowed that fear of failure to outweigh our desire to succeed, guess what we do? We don't go forward. We don't move forward with it. Say, I will. I will. Move forward. Move forward. Yes. Some of you have the ability, like I said, to write that bestseller, but we become scared and stagnated and we don't move forward. Say it again. Say, I will. I will. Move forward. Move forward. And the third thing is that we can never give up. I know some of us are saying, when will I become successful? When will I become successful? When will I become successful? You will become successful when you become successful. Yes, sir. Right? Never put a timeline on your success. My favorite scripture says that those that wait upon the Lord, they shall renew their strength. That they should run and not be weary. That they should walk and they shall not faint. Why are we giving up right when we're at the door that's going to open that opportunity in order for us to move forward? Yes, sir. Yep. Waiting is over. I'm just here to tell you, waiting is over. Who are you waiting for? Come on, Doc. What are you waiting on? Everything that has been gifted to you has been placed down on the inside of you. But sometimes because we listen to other people or we think that they're not going to take us serious, they're going to laugh at us. I recall when I first joined Toastmasters, I stuttered from when I was 8 years old until I was about 47. I stuttered, couldn't even read my name completely. People wondered, they were like, no way, you never stuttered. Yes, I did. I don't know if Jean was there at Four Corners Toastmasters. She would testify. I stuttered. But then, like so many of you, I took that leap of faith and I grew my wings on my way down. Now, we have to realize that, hey, everything is on the inside of us. Everything that you need, everything that you need is on the inside of you. And I'm here to tell you that I don't know what your dreams and your goals are. I don't know what's holding you back from chasing that thing that is chasing you. But here's what I do know. Based on my own experiences, I had to recondition my mind, right? Say, recondition my mind. Recondition my mind. I had to utilize my gifts and my talents. Say, utilize my gifts and my talents. Utilize my gifts and my talents. And then I realized that I could not give up. Say, I would never give up. I would never give up. Say, I would never give up. I would never give up. I will never give up. I will never give up. If you take that to heart, if you believe that with all of your heart, and if you just make that a part of your heart, then I guarantee you, based on my own experience, that you will become the best you that you can ever be. God bless you. My name is Dominic Tosin, motivational speaker. And I want you to become the best you that you can be. Yeah. Thank you. That was good, right? Never let somebody actually take the pen from your life because you are in control. Ain't it good? Oh my gosh. So, okay, so we're going to play a little game real quick. Can I do that with y'all real quick? Yeah. Okay, we're going to play a little game. So, everybody here came to change their life, am I correct? Okay, awesome. So because you guys came to change your life, part of changing your life is getting around people that see it the way you do. That's one of the things that Les Brown always says. Get around people that see it the way you do. If you want to lose weight, what are you going to do? You're going to find somebody that see it the way you do that's also trying to lose weight. If you want to eat healthier, you're going to get around people that want to eat healthier. If you want to be a speaker, you're going to get around other speakers, right? So I became a pageant king, so I got around pageant kings and pageant queens. So right now, what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to get up because everything that you're looking for is in this room. So I'm going to tell them to play a beat. I want you guys, whatever it is that you came here looking for, find the person that's in this room, and I want you to go get it. Can y'all do that? Okay. I told y'all yesterday I'm a Southern boy, so let's try it again, because a lot of times you respond when you get a little loud. So I need y'all to get on your feet. I need you to find that person in this room that, as Grant Cardone says, who's got my money? So you need to find the connection that you need in this room before you leave. So stand to your feet, and I need y'all to network, okay? Thank you.
We have approximately 2 more minutes, so make sure you're getting it in so you can win.
Right.
We got it now. 1 more minute to go, y'all.
1 minute, 17 seconds. Get those numbers, get those names. 1 minute. Get those names, build those relationships. 50 seconds. 50 seconds. 40 seconds to make that selfie and finish up the conversation. 40 seconds. 30 seconds to get that merch over its label. 20 seconds to hug a friend and get it what you can. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop that music, DJ.
Now, we ain't dropping the mic, but we about to get started again. So everybody take your seat so that we can win. Come on now. Get to your seats, get to your seats. Get to your seats. Don't stop me. Get to your seat. Now here we are. We have the next speaker that is coming up, and I need you all to be ready. Because right now you're not ready to receive. You're still talking, not walking. Get to your seats and have a seat. Come on now. Now I can't give a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's landed. The ship has landed. It is amazing when you get a room full of speakers and monumental movements, the conversation continues, right? You got to have a conversation with someone you never knew would be the solution and connection to you, but it just happened. But now we have the unstoppable, the game changer, the pilot that takes flight, the one that can't believe or cannot hear that I can't, I will not. What he hears is I can. Mr. I can. Mr. I'm moving. Mr. I'm succeeding. Mr. I'm transforming is on his way coming to the stage. He has been here in the room. He's been emceeing. He's been talking to you. He's been playing with you. And he can rise up to you right now. We can get the voices in the room. Because that's Mr. Unstoppable. Come on through.
It's about to get all right, take your seats for the yes. Are you guys feeling good? Are you feeling good? Are you looking good? Man, I see the brothers that got their suits on, looking all nice and elegant. I see the ladies out here fresh to death. And you know what? I was in work mode earlier this morning. But, you know, I had to go up and I had to change because part of becoming the best you is not being the same person every time you see me on stage. So I had to come back, but it's a little bit different. You know what? I love y'all so much. I even got my red bottom. Yeah. Every man needs a pair of red bottoms, not just for the ladies. So listen, I had you guys come up here because it's important for you guys to recognize that each and every one of you is becoming the best you. We talked about the theme for today is reach for the world. And I asked you guys a question at the beginning. Anybody can stand up and tell me what that question was I asked you at 1 o'clock yesterday? Evans, what was that question?
Are you ready, eager, and able to change and how?
Are you ready, eager, and able to change, and more importantly, how? And so that's what I want to talk about a little bit for the time that I have up here. And I want you to consider this. You've probably heard it before, but maybe you need to hear it again. Because maybe you heard it from somebody where it didn't resonate. And maybe I'm the person that's going to connect to your collaboration today. So I want you to repeat after me. It's not about the destination.
It's not about the destination.
Okay, so, I done did this morning. Princess has done this twice over here. And Veronica told you, we feed off of your energy. So what I'm giving, I need back in return. So let's try that again. I'm just going to. When I say it's not about the destination, you say
It's not about the destination.
It's about the journey. Say it again. It's not about the destination.
It's not about the destination.
It's about the journey.
It's about the journey.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That phrase has never been more profound to me than in my journey towards becoming the best version of Mr. Unstoppable. Those of you who've heard my story before know that I wasn't born Mr. Unstoppable. I didn't come out of Cook County Hospital and they slapped me on the butt and they said, unstoppable. No, that didn't happen. I was born like most people. Just another day in the life, in the hospital, another baby born, unknown what their destiny was destined to be. And then over what I'm proud to say is 57 years.
Come on, T.
Yes, somebody better say something about that. Somebody didn't make 57 today. Somebody's not gonna make 57 tomorrow, and somebody ain't gonna make 57 and look like 35. Hello, somebody. Hello. So, but over those 57 years, I wasn't Mr. Unstoppable. If anything, my journey was an average journey. Now, you've heard a lot of stories over these last couple of days, people who've been through some things, people who've had to overcome some things, people who've had challenges, people who've had divorces, people who've been in accidents, people who, everything you can think of. But I don't stand here before you with that. But I do stand here before you where my journey was one that if I had to stand before a judge, they would convict me of the crime of living an average lifestyle. Anybody in here know what it's like to just average? Okay, yeah, I didn't used to raise my hand when I was out there either, but I know there's somebody out there that has lived an average lifestyle or, watch, is still living an average lifestyle. Your journey just has you like on this stage, this straight line, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You never go here, you never go here, you just stay right here. Some people call it the comfort zone. Because on this comfort zone, you know what's here. You know what's on this line. You get up, you go to work, you come home, you eat your ham sandwich, you go to sleep, and you get up, and you go home, and you eat your ham sandwich. Every day the same thing. But on the journey to becoming the best you, it's not a straight line. It's a circle sometimes. It's starting here at midnight. Running the midnight oil, working on becoming the best version of you. Maybe working on that book because you have this story that you want to tell. Maybe working on this speech because you've got a message that you want to get out, but you just don't know how to get it right. And then it comes down to 6 o'clock in the morning. Now you're that parent that you're getting the kids up because we're back in school, and now you're focusing all your energy on the other people that you're not really having the time to work on you. The journey is different for each and every one of us. But many times we get lost because we're focusing on the destination. How many of you got goals and dreams in life out there? By show of hands. Okay, we got a lot more participation in that. So we know, you kind of know what you're looking to achieve. So how many of you are focused on what you need to do to get to that goal? Raise the hands again. See, you got a little bit less, a little bit less. See, we know we want to hang out with the 4 multimillionaires in the room and say we're one of the multimillionaires. We know we want to be able to travel the world with the rest of the high class. We know we want to be entrepreneurs. We know we want to be this and this and this, but we haven't taken the time to figure out how. We're ready, we're eager, we're able to change, but we don't know how. And that's where we end up being stuck. That's where we end up giving up and we go back to average. Because there's no thinking on this line. I've done it over and over again. You know, I used to work for this company for 10 years, and I could literally leave my house at 7 o'clock in the morning, not even pay attention to if I turned the car on, but I know the car's on, and it went down the same road, and it got on the same expressway, and it got off the same destination, and I got to work at 7:45 each and every day like clockwork, because that was my average lifestyle. Anybody else know what I'm talking about? It's easier to go back to the average when you haven't thought about how you're going to reach those goals. And that's why we go through life and we end up where our dreams are in the most expensive place on earth. Some of y'all have heard about that place. Some of y'all passed that place, and thank God today you're here. The graveyard. That's our ultimate destination. We're not going to get away from that. But we don't focus on the destination here at BTBY. We focus on the journey. Because the journey is something that is just so beautiful that if you think about it, it's why do we not do that every time? You know, I had you guys come up and do this cha-cha slide, and because the cha-cha slide, when I think of the cha-cha slide, I think of the journey. You know, the cha-cha slide is in the title, but you rarely hear it in the song until you've gone someplace. Watch me now. It says to the left, to the right, to the back, turn around. Then it says cha-cha slide. So it's telling you, it's taking you on a journey before it gets to the destination. And in the journey of cha-cha slide, just in the journey of life, you've got times where you're gonna have to go to the left. You got this obstacle that's in front of you. Maybe you've got a dream and you don't know how to get started on that dream. Maybe you've got a dream and there's someone in your life that's stopping you. Maybe you've got a dream and there's somebody that doesn't believe in you. Maybe that person is you. And sometimes you just gotta step to the left of that obstacle so that you can start walking in the journey towards your dream. And then you can cha-cha slide. Yeah. But then there are those times where the obstacle, you gotta step to the right. You know, maybe you love your job, and because you love your job, you're stuck in that comfort zone that says, you know what, I can do more here than if I step forward into that, facing that obstacle. They say that your journey to success is on the other side of fear. But fear is usually right there in front of you. And we're afraid to step into it, so we try to sidestep it. You know, if we sidestep fear, just go right on by us and we can just keep on doing what we're gonna do. But how's that working out for you? Probably not working out for you very well. And that's why it's important for you to really take the journey as it comes. Sometimes, just like in the cha-cha slide, your obstacles are going to be too big for you to sidestep. And you're actually going to have to jump one time, Get over that obstacle so you can keep going. Sometimes that obstacle has another obstacle right in front of it, so you gotta jump 2 times. You can walk into that obstacle, and then you can cha-cha slide. You never know. Everybody's journey is different, but you got to be able to be willing, ready, eager, and able to go on that journey so that you can not focus on the destination, but focus on the journey. And the cha-cha slide also says, sometimes you got situations where you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. You're in this relationship and you know that relationship ain't going nowhere. She said, baby. You said, oh, yeah, I'll take you back. He said, maybe. You said, ah, I'll take you back. And then you go and he does the same thing again. And what does the cha-cha slide say in there? It says, reverse, reverse. You know? So you reverse. And then he says, oh, baby. And then you go right back into it. But cha-cha said, reverse, reverse. So that's why it says it twice, because sometimes you do the reverse and you keep doing the same thing. And you know, if you do the same thing over and over again, that's the definition for insanity. Absolutely. But it's part of the journey that says you got to keep reversing and reversing and reversing and reversing sometimes until you get it right. We got any teachers in the room, any educators in the room? Raise your hand. How many times do you have a student that you give them the test and they don't get the test perfect? How many times? 1 time, 2 times? What do you do after that? You give them the test over again. In the game of school, just in the game of life, sometimes you got to keep taking those tests until you pass the test. Sometimes you got to keep reversing. Sometimes you got to keep reversing. Sometimes you got to keep reversing again. You got to keep starting over and over again until you get it right. But in the game of life, that doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. That just means you're on a journey. And we're on my journey. I may only reverse 1 time and figure it out and get to do my cha-cha slide on my journey to my destination. It may take you a little bit longer. But here's the thing I've learned, especially on this BTBY journey, is it doesn't matter how long it takes you, because I ain't competing with you. Just because you were able to do it once doesn't mean I have to do it in 1 try. Right. Maybe I'm hard-headed, maybe I'm a knucklehead, maybe I'm just resistant and it's gonna take me a little bit longer, but that is my journey. And I'm not focused on getting to that destination or getting it right just because you did. I'm focused on taking the time in my journey so that when I get to that destination, I won't have to go back. Anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
That's what I like about the journey, and that's why I want you to focus on the journey and not the destination. So I want to talk to you about 4 things that I want you to think about on your journey towards becoming the best you. The first thing I want to focus on, I told you about ready, eager, and able. I want to focus on the able. And everybody knows by now, Brenda says it every time she gets the mic talking about me, I love acronyms. So what's our acronym for able? Well, the first letter is A, and it speaks to your abilities. When you were born, you didn't have any abilities. You didn't know what you could do. But you went through day 1, day 10, day 20, day 50, and all of a sudden you learned this thing called crawling. And so now you're able to crawl. So mama ain't gotta carry you around anymore. Daddy ain't gotta put you on his back. You moving now. You on your journey. You on your knees, but you're moving. You found an ability. Later on in life, you learn now that you can lift yourself up off the ground and you can stand up straight, and now you're walking. You got a new ability on your journey to becoming the best version of you. In 2010, March 2010, I had to learn some new abilities. I'd been working for my good government job in Chicago, Illinois. Chi-town, shout out. Yeah. And I got these 3 fateful words, March 3rd of 2010. Say, you are fired. That's exactly what I said. But I didn't say it like that. I had a matrix moment. I said, what? Because I was trying to have it fly right over me. I was doing what I said in cha-cha slide. I was moving out of this way because that wasn't meant for me. But no matter where I moved, it got me smack dab in my face. But that was part of my journey that gave me the opportunity to learn some new abilities. You see, people who've heard my story before, they know even though I got fired on March of 2010, I had fired myself from that job a long time ago. Because I was doing the average. I was doing just enough for 10 years to keep that check coming, so I could keep my house payment, so I could keep my car. I was doing just enough to get enough. Anybody in here know about doing just enough to get enough? Do you know when you do just enough to get enough, you just get enough? Anybody just happy with enough? I didn't think so. Once I had those 3 words come to me, I had to learn that I need to do something else because this ain't enough. I actually got so upset about that I went into my backyard and I had a conversation with God and I said, this ain't enough. I need you to do more. I need you to be in the midst. You said you would be here in the midst with me. You said you would go, you would not forsake me, and I need you. And he said to me the word that has ultimately changed my life. And it's the word unstoppable. And he focused on those last 4 words, A-B-L-E. He said, now that I've taken this opportunity for you to do just enough away from you, what are you able to do now, Terrence? And that's the question I want to ask each and every one of you. Now that something may have been taken away from you, what are you able to do now? What other skills, what other talents, what other attributes can you tap into so that you can become the best version of you? I had to learn that I was more than just a paper pusher at a government job. I had a voice. Many times before then, I was walking on this average line and I didn't think anybody wanted to hear anything I had to say. Because I didn't have no tragedy. I ain't lost nobody. I ain't been in no accident. I wasn't in no hurricane. I'm in Florida right now, been there 4 years, still ain't been in a hurricane. I lived in Chicago, but the only blizzard I went through was when I was 3 years old, so I didn't have anything that made me think anyone wanted to hear my voice. But then after I had to tap into what I was able to do, I started sharing that, I was doing just enough to get enough. And people were starting to say to me, Terrence, that's me. That's me. And so now I knew that I had an ability to talk about what an average lifestyle looks like and how you can do something different. Now, maybe your ability isn't coming up here on the stage and speaking and motivating. Maybe your ability is speaking to that one high school student at your school. Maybe it's speaking to that one neighborhood kid that you see is running down the street, busting windows or breaking in the cars. Maybe your ability is to do a podcast to talk about fear and hopelessness. Maybe your ability is to stand in a community room or a church and talk about being just different than everyone else. I don't know what it is, but now is the time for you to be ready, eager, and able to figure out what it is that makes you the best version of you. Stop settling for average when you can be unstoppable. Say that with me. Stop settling for average when you can be unstoppable. Yes, and here's the good news. It's not a destination. It's a journey. Each and every day before I wake up, when I wake up, the first thing I say is, it's an unstoppable day. Now you may wonder, why do I say that every day? Because yesterday's gone, tomorrow ain't promised. All you have is the present. And I was unstoppable yesterday, thank God, but by the grace of God, I'm going to continue to be unstoppable today. It's not a destination, it's a journey. And on this journey, each and every day, I'm going to try to be the best version I can be so that I can be unstoppable. Our keynote speaker that's coming up after us, he said something recently that just blew my mind. He said, if you don't know who you are, anything can stop you. But once you know who you are, nothing can stop you. So I can't take his line because that's his line. So I say, until you know who you are, anything can stop you. But once you know who you are, oh yeah, you become unstoppable. And then you don't start walking this line, this straight line. You start walking this line, okay, these are the good days. I'm unstoppable. You keep walking and then you find out, just because you're unstoppable don't mean something ain't gonna come along to challenge you. Something ain't gonna come to try to knock you off the stage. Something ain't gonna come on to try to rock your world. But even on those days when it's not so good, you're still unstoppable. You may have me turn around, you may have me yield, you may have me do this and do that, but you don't stop me. Why? Because the destination isn't unstoppability. The journey is unstoppability. Now, that's my word, but what's your journey? What do you title your journey? Your journey, is it healing? Is it intentionality? If that's your journey, what does each day of intentionality look like? If your journey is challenging people each and every day to walk in victory, well, what does that look like each and every day? Sakoni, if it's introducing people to themselves, well, what does that journey look like each and every day to challenge people to introduce themselves to themselves? Ladies and gentlemen, it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. And I encourage you, as you think about the question that I asked you yesterday, what are you ready, eager, and able to change in your life? Think about the journey of how you're going to do that. And just understand the journey, you don't have to think about the whole line. You can start with today. What part of the journey do I want to focus on today? Maybe today I want to focus on reading a book. I've been talking about reading books, but with the kids and with work and coming home and doing dinner and taking care of hubby or taking care of spouse. By the time I put my head down and then think about reading a book, there's no time. Well, maybe now you put that time on your journey line. I'm going to read one book. Maybe your journey says I need to go back to school and get a skill. All right, so starting today, when can you make time on your journey for that higher education, for those tools, those tips and strategies you need to be the best version of you on your journey? Maybe it's getting some distractors and time wasters out of your life. Maybe it's time to end that relationship. You've been talking about it for weeks, but you said, baby, I'll do better. You said, okay, baby. And the better ain't come. Maybe it's now that you do like Cha-Cha says, put your right foot down and end that. And put your left foot down and start walking in a new direction. Maybe that's what you do today. It's not about what you're going to do all the way towards your destination. It's what can you do right now to make that journey to becoming the best version of you. That's what I want y'all to do. And I want you to understand that once you figure out your abilities, now it's time to work on your belief system. I used to believe that nobody wanted to hear what I had to say. I used to believe that I wasn't worthy enough to go on stage. I used to believe I wasn't worthy enough to write a book. I used to believe I wasn't worthy enough to be on other podcasts. I used to believe I wasn't worthy enough to have my own podcast, but I don't believe that anymore. When I changed my mind, when I changed my mindset, all the things changed. And they said, someone way smarter than me said that wherever you are in life, your mind got there first. And so I started putting my mind on sharing my story because I'm worthy on this journey. I decided to share my story in books, and now as of the book that we have out today, Becoming the Best You, the World is Ready, that makes 5 books that I've done in less than 7 years. Yes, you can clap for that. I changed my mind and decided to focus on the journey and not the destination. This lovely lady over here in the corner, she saw me in this very same room 5 years ago, 2019. Didn't know her from a can of paint. She didn't know me either. But now I'm in her vision. She's part of my vision. And together we have created what she sees. I have focused on the destination. I'm going to miss this. This is still part of the journey. BTBY is less than 2 years old, and we're still on a journey. BTBY went from virtual to 2 in-persons to 4 virtuals to the BTBY youth experience to you guys being in this room to brainstorming to mind shifting. All of this happened because I stopped looking at the destination for me and I started focusing on the journey ahead of me. Ladies and gentlemen, you could be up here jumping and screaming and out of breath just like me if you stop focusing on where you're trying to go and start enjoying the ride on your destination. Come on. Just step to the left, step to the right, take it back one time. You can even chop the ground if you want to. But on that journey towards becoming the best version of you, I want you to always remember to cha-cha slide. Because it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. I'm Terrence, the unstoppable coach left. Wherever you are in the world today, you know what I say. Don't just make it a great day. Focus on the journey, not the destinations, and make it an unstoppable day.
One of the things that I have learned is if you don't know how to do something, find somebody that does. Right? So we got routine. At first, you see those balloons on your tables? They kind of been just kind of there. And then you got some that aren't even blown up, right? Those represent your challenges. They're all different sizes. But all day long, all weekend long, what have you been focusing on? The balloons that are blown up or the ones that aren't? I know. Good for you. But we tend to only see what's right in front of our face. But you see those that are not blown up? And get your mind out of the gutter because I'm thinking they represent something else. I know that was there. Those are the problems that are getting ready to come. And they're there and they're lurking. And you don't think about it. Because we only want to see them when they're blown up. But the fact is once they're blown up, you can pop them. You can take care of them because you can see them. But then those are the ones laying there that you haven't seen yet. What are you going to do about those? You need to have a plan. And you need to execute because those things are going to happen. Now, next to them, there's also some keys on the table. Regina, talk about them keys.
Which part of the keys you want me to talk about? Because we know that to every new season that there's a door that needs to be open. And with the door getting open, you gotta have the right key to fit to the door, to fit to the lock. And some of you are trying to use the wrong key. Some of us have tried to use the wrong key to break through to success and got stuck. And you're still standing at the door and your help is right beside you. But instead of you looking over and saying, can you help me? Can you help me open the door? Do you got the key to this door? Do you got the journey? Do you got the experience? Do you got the testimony? Are you willing to connect me to the right people, the right resources? But you're standing there and your help is in the room. You standing there and your help is in the building.
Sir.
You standing there, your help is in the family. And so when I take the right key and I place the right key in the right door and I turn the key, not that I just place it in, I turn the key, I still got to do the work. And I turn the key. And once I turn the key, I open the door, I can step through it. But if I'm not willing to go through the process of progress, then I get stuck at the door. And I call the door a hindrance. And I call the door a hurdle. But if you get in contact with the right people, like we are in this room, and we get in contact with the right training, like you're able to receive through some that are connected to this room, then now I can turn the key. That I've gotten the right key to the right door and place it in and step through. So I need you to stay tapped in. Because in this season, for you to be released, you're going to have to step in and you and say, am I ready? Am I ready for this next season? Am I ready for this next opportunity? Am I ready to understand that I am the solution and the next word that needs to be released is already stacked up in me? And she just told me to move over. So I'm going to stand over here by you, but I already been talking, y'all. How y'all doing?
We're going to take it a step further. Who is the key?
We are.
You are the key. You don't need the key. You are the key, and you are going to unlock your own doors. You create your own journey. So my question to you is, what are you going to do with your key? What are you going to do with yourself? Like Chuck said, what are you going to do for yourself? What are you going to do?
Turn it. Turn it. Turn it. Turn it. Turn it. Y'all better turn it. Turn it. Turn it. Turn it. Turn it. Because you're going to turn down for what? In this season, you need to turn it. Come on. Come on. Turn that voice up. Come on. Turn that excitement up. Come on. Turn that level up. Come on. Turn that energy up. Come on. Turn that thought process up. Come on. Say, turn it. Turn it. I need y'all to say it like I'm saying it, because it sounds like an engine is just getting started up. Right now, I need you to understand that you're the key. So if you're the key and you're the engine that connects us to source, you need to turn it. Come on, turn it. All right, turn down for what? We're going to turn it.
I got one more thing before I'm going to let you two introduce our speaker. So I would like Mrs. West to stand up in the back.
I'm aware.
This room right here, I met her son that she raised, that she taught to be the man that he is. And I want everybody that Reuben has touched to stand up.
Stand. Oh, y'all can do better than
There's
that.
more in this room now.
Y'all ain't even clapping like this room. That's my guru. I need some more hand clap. Come on.
Now let me tell you, y'all all need to be standing because you're here. You all need to be standing because she raised him and he touched us and we're touching you.
Hey.
And took the steps that we did. And who is this? The stepologist who's telling you to do what with that key?
All right. Are you ready for your next speaker? I thought y'all thought Regina was your next speaker. No. Are you ready for your next speaker?
Now he just asked, are you ready for the next? And see, the next may be your best. But you don't even know who you got on your list to receive right now. So in 2018, I was in this room, right? Say, get in the room.
Get in the room.
I was in this room in a place called there, vulnerable and transparent. And this gentleman, right, he reaches out and touches somebody. He's standing up here and he got to nominate somebody for an award. And somehow he chose little old me to nominate at a BBS, okay? And he chose me, right? I come in the room because I'm in a place called there, right? And that means I had to get here, right? And he came up and was able to choose me, right? And that's how you are all able to see the stepologist come through and roll out and lay out on you a little something good, right?
But watch this. Because he introduced her to herself, she was able to see who she was, and now she's able to turn you up. So you see, it's reciprocal, it's collateral. If I touch you, you're gonna touch somebody else, and then you're gonna touch somebody else, and together we all get touched. And it's because you took the first step to be introduced to yourself. So we want y'all to stand up and you turn up. We've got Prince. It's Tony Prince. I call him King because he's about to help you introduce you to yourself. Come on, put your hands, give it up in here. My brother, my friend, come on now.
Goodness, my goodness. You know, when I first heard this song, it resonated with me. It resonated with me because the reality is that when you realize, you know, like Terrence stole my mind, man. Until you know who you are, anything can stop. Anything. But once you know who you are, nothing can. Now, I'm going to use the stage as a prop, okay? But I need your help, all right? So, over here, this is becoming, okay? Right here is the best, okay? Over here, you. All right, so let's go over this again. Over here, this is what? Becoming, okay? Right here, this is what? The best. The best. And over here, this is you. When you look at the title of this organization, when you look at the word, thank you, brother. She said I did the logo, which I did. And you know the funny thing about that, and this is a sidebar, she asked me to do it. I sent her a draft. Next thing I know, I see it on emails. I'm like, I just wanted you to look at it, give me some feedback. She just took it and ran with it. That shows you the heart of that lady. Thank you. Thank you for all you do. So when you look at the word becoming, it's really broken down into two words. The first one is be. And be is a state of being. For instance, if I said be quiet, doesn't mean you just stop talking for a second. You are quiet for a period of time. If I said be still, that means that you don't move. If I said be gone, it's not just you walk out and walk back in, you leave. So the first part of becoming is be, so it's a state of. Now the second part is coming. Now that means that you're moving from one location to the next. When you're coming, you're moving from one location to the next. When I left Mobile, I was coming to Kansas City. I was on my way. I was taking a journey. So becoming is a state of moving from where you are to where you want to be. But the next part, it says the best. Not the worst, but the best. Now, when it says best, we oftentimes use numbers to quantify it. The best football team, the best basketball team, the best lawyer, the best doctor, the best attorney. We use things to quantify it. So when we talk about the best, when it comes to us, we can say we're the best father. That's one part of it. We're the best son. That's another part of it. We're the best friend. So there are many aspects and areas of our life that we can be better at. So we can't just say, well, I'm a good employee over here, but I'm a terrible husband. That's not the best you. All of you. Some of us, we want to stop at one little spot, one little place. I'm good here, and everything else is falling apart. It doesn't help for us to be the best anything if we're not going to be the best everything for us. When it comes to our children, when it comes to our families, when it comes to our communities, are we really making a difference with them? I remember I had a business partner several years ago, and we had a company called 3D Solution Providers. And we did 3D animation and illustration. And during the course of our business, I noticed his attention started to kind of wane from the business. And I tried for a while to try to get him reanimated, get him back engaged, get him back involved. But it got to the point where it's like, okay, listen, there's a disconnect here. So we had to have a meeting. And I met him at a library and I asked him this simple question. Now, this is, and I do have to admit, this is a nugget that I know God gave me, and I'm passing this on to you. Because this is a one-size-fits-all question. The question to him was, if you were a business partner, would you want a partner like you? Now notice the wording now. If you were a business partner, would you want a partner like you? But see, before I could ask him that question, before I could actually put my lips together to say that to him, who did I have to answer? Myself. I had to ask myself that question. And I was honest enough to say, yes, I would. Because I knew what I was doing in reference to the business. Now, this is why I say that question is a one-size-fits-all question, because I've used that same question, even with my lovely wife who's back in the back. Baby Yolanda, that's my wife. I asked her one time, I said, if you were a man, would you want to be married to a woman like you? But, before I could ask her that question, who would I have to ask? Me. If I was a woman, would I want to be married to a man like me? It looks different, doesn't it? I might say to my children, if you were a parent, would you want to raise a child like you? Now, most of the time when I ask that question, they're doing something that they know is getting on my nerve and they know they need to stop. And if they're honest enough in that moment, they'll say, no. But before I can ask them that question, I have to ask myself, if I was a child, would I want to be raised by a parent like me? See, what that does, that looks at your behavior. So when we talk about becoming the best you, it's not just compartmentalized. So many of us think that we can just excel in one area of our life and that's it. We're good. We're not one-dimensional. I'm not just a husband. I'm not just a father. I'm not just a son. I'm not just a business owner. I'm not just a speaker. If we're going to be the best version of ourselves, that has to encompass everything about our financial life, our physical, our health, our emotional, our spiritual life. We cannot just say, I am good, I have a ton of money in the bank, but can't nobody stand to talk to me. Well, I'm Facebook famous, but I can't pay my bills. I mean, we really need to take the time to put in the work, to become the best version of ourselves. And see, what we fail to realize is that so many people are looking at us. So many people are watching us. They may not tell you, they may not say it, it may not come from their lips, but so many people are looking at you. I tell this story and it never gets old. Doing my own event back in 2017 in Mobile. I I was doing it at a hotel that was less than a mile from my house. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because inevitably I forgot something. And I had to figure out, okay, I got about 20 minutes. I can run home and get it, but I can't go and come back. I have to get everything in this one trip. And so I get ready to leave, and our youngest son says, hey, Dad, can I ride with you? I said, sure, son, come on. And he gets in the car, and I'm just thinking, okay, I got to make sure I get everything. Is there anything else I need? I'm just driving. I'm trying to get to the house, and without saying anything, without us having a conversation about the event or anything else. At the time, he was 10. He's 16. He looked at me and he said, Dad, I'm proud of you. And in that moment, I stopped, not driving, but I stopped on the inside because I realized he's watching. I can tell him all day, son, you can be whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do. But then when he looks at me, you ain't doing it. What example am I giving him? What am I showing him? What does he have to take with him? Because on his cell phone, everything is filtered. Everything. Everybody's balling. Everybody has everything, and he doesn't see the struggle. But at the house, he knows the challenges. See, everything else is filtered. People on TV, people in the movies, people on the big screen, it's filtered. He sees their success. He doesn't know about the struggle they had to get there. Why do our children's heroes have to be somebody that they don't even know? Go down there, Stone. Why can't they sit across the table from their heroes? Down there, Stone. Why can't they have dinner? Why can't they have breakfast with somebody that they look up to? When I realized that, I started acting different. Because I realized, watch it. They're looking at it. Yeah. But the biggest challenge for us today is this. What are they seeing? Do they see us talk about ourselves? Do they see us put ourselves down? Do they see us shrink back? Do they see us not fight for what it is we love and care about? What are they seeing from us? There are some people in this room right now that can think back to when they were younger and how they had family members that would go through hell and high water for them. They remember the sacrifice. They remember the things that were done. They remember the gifts that were given. My mom passed in 2014, and I had the opportunity to speak at her funeral. And I recounted, to me, I mean, honestly, it was one of those touching memories, because I can't tell you how many times, school comes in and single mother, 2 children, and, she's trying to make sure we are first day of school ready. And we got the clothes we need, we got the shoes they need, we kind of want it, but we were ready for school. I can't tell you how many times I walked past her bedroom door and saw her sitting on the side of the bed and putting safety pins in her undergarments so that she could save money to get us what we need. I saw that. That taught me sacrifice. When we talk about becoming the best you, what lessons are we leaving for our children? Like our nieces, our nephews, what are they seeing? Are they seeing somebody that's self-centered, that's self-serving? Or are they seeing somebody that is willing to forego what they want for the sake of somebody else? The word legacy gets tossed around a lot. People talk about having a legacy. And If your legacy stops with you, is it really a legacy? Actually about 2 years ago, I had an opportunity to actually speak on the National Men's Prayer Call. It's a weekly, actually twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. They would have a 7 o'clock Zoom. And we would have an opportunity to talk about certain subjects. And they actually, for the end of the year, they had these pillars that they thought that every man should have. And one of them was consistency. And you know, they asked me to speak that month. And while I was preparing that message, God gave me a revelation. And the revelation was consistency was the second leg of a 4-leg race. When I started off on my presentation that morning saying that, they kind of looked at me because I'm on Zoom, I'm looking at everybody's faces, and their face kind of balled up, like, what do you mean? I said, well, okay, before you can be consistent at anything, you have to be committed. Because with no commitment, there is no consistency. Can you show me anybody that's consistent at anything? Brenda Ringwood. She has a commitment. That commitment is what drives her consistency. But you show me anybody that's consistent at something over time, they can't help but get better at it. Sure. Amen. If you bake cakes every week, you start off January 1st, you know nothing about making cakes. By December, I'm showing up at your house with a plate and some aluminum foil. Because by then, you have gotten better at what it is you're doing. Your consistency breeds success. You cannot be successful without it. I would not be on this stage today if it wasn't for the consistency that I got from my commitment to speak. But even that, it wasn't just about speaking. It was about changing people's lives. It was about pouring into others. The reason I'm on this stage is because of you. We talked about becoming the best you. I can't be the best me without you. If I was in my backyard right now saying everything I'm saying, they would call the people in the white coats. And they would haul me away. But here's the reality. When I understood that I had more to offer and more to give, I couldn't just keep it to myself. But the kicker is this. You have more to offer. You have more to give. And you can't just keep it to yourself. Dr. Miles Monroe said the fruit isn't for the tree. And your gift isn't for you. It's for somebody else. You know, I really wish I could make this problem. And I'm going to have to work on it for next month. Because I think this is the easiest way for children to understand. If I had a table up here with a glass and a pitcher, and the pitcher had lemonade in it or fruit punch, and it looked like you could pour it out, but inside I had a seal to where when I picked up the pitcher and hold it over the glass, nothing came out. I tried it again and nothing comes out. And I'm sure that this would resonate with young people because they're like, I want some lemonade. Okay, hold on a second, let me pour you some. But it's not coming out. It's not coming out. I don't don't care what it is you have in you. If you're not willing to put it out, who is it helping? Who are you helping? You could be the smartest person in this room, but nobody will know. You've heard it several times, the richest place in the world is the graveyard. Why take stuff with you? A lot of people have a hard time believing I used to stutter as a child. I'm serious, I had a stuttering problem. And if you would have told me when I was younger that I would be up here on stage speaking to people, I would have been like, you crazy. Because I can do that. And that's the way I used to talk. But listen. When you realize you have so much in you that you have to get out, nothing can stop. You'll put in the work. You'll get some help. You'll find somebody. And you know what? I did so much on my own. I used to volunteer to read in class. Now, I'm not saying that I've always been the person I am today. Believe me, I am not. But I am becoming. Even then, I didn't want to stay stuck and stagnant. I didn't want to stay in a corner. I didn't want to have people always talking about me. And some of those same kids that joked me when I was younger, I wonder where they are today. My point is, I didn't let what they thought about me or what they said about me change what I knew I had to do. So when you realize how valuable you are, when you realize how valuable your gift is. See, if God didn't need you here, you wouldn't be here. Somebody needs what it is you have. Somebody needs the gift, the ability, the talent, the arms, the ears, the eyes. Somebody needs the touch that you have. But if you don't see it as that, if you don't see that as valuable, you'll hide it. You'll discount it. You'll put it away. You won't share it with anybody. But once you realize just how valuable what it is you have, you fight like hell to get it out. You do whatever you have to do. You'll get as much help as you need. You'll take as much time as you need. You won't quit until you've won because you realize somebody is waiting on what I have. Yes, sir. You are the aspirin to someone's headache. Somebody is hungry for what you have. Don't leave them starving. I walk in the room, they tune me out. I show up, and he don't understand me. I can't relate to him. But when you show up, your story, your background, your history makes them sit up, makes them take notes, makes them say, you know what? I need to talk to her. I need to talk to him. I need to encourage them because they have encouraged me. When I thought about doing this keynote, there were so many things that ran through my mind. But I definitely want to make this point here. That there would be no me without you. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from God, because believe me, He's the one that has me here. Amen. Give it up for God. But the mission that God has given me is not for me. See, if you leave out of this room thinking that Shakona is a great keynote speaker, I failed. Because that wasn't my goal. My goal was to help you to see yourself in a different light. People think I spent millions of dollars with the marketing firm to come up with my slogan. I'm Shakona Press, I'm ShakonaPress.com, where we make motivation personal by introducing I didn't consult with anybody other than God about that. But see, the reason I was able to do that because he first introduced me to myself. See, until you really understand what it is you have, you can't see clearly what it is you're supposed to be doing. It doesn't resonate with you. God started to show me the type of person he made me to be. The type of friend, the type of father, the type of husband he made me. And once I understood that, again, I saw the value in it. I saw what God needed me here now. But he needed me not for himself, although I do give him glory, but he needed me for my fellow man. God blesses us through each other. And there are so many people that have spoken on this stage. They have gifts and abilities and talents that are going to help you get to where it is you want to go. But if you don't recognize that you have something to offer, like Mr. Stample said, you'll step back. Like Donald Trump said, you'll step back. You will withdraw yourself because you're like, I don't have anything to offer them. I think we spend too much time looking at other people's backyards and what it is we think they have. And we don't spend enough time seeing our own worst. A good friend of mine, Judy Lane, she told me, she said, Sikona, you don't have a gospel of salvation. You have a gospel of self-worth. And I say, that's it. That sums up what it is that is near and dear to my heart. Because I believe that once you truly understand who you are, like my theme song, nothing can stop. All the way. Nothing. For so many of us in so many days, not valuing who we are. And what signal is that sending? What message is that sending? What is that giving to those around us? It's not just about us. It's not just about what we consider to be important. There are so many people that are waiting for you to just shine, to be who it is you were called to be. Because just like my son, they're watching. You can think of somebody right now, somebody, if you didn't come home to them, what would they do? If you didn't continue to thrive and to grow and to share, there's so many people that are just, they are depending on you. I was telling, in fact, a young lady, in fact, selling this shea butter. I said, if I knew everybody I was supposed to impact, if I had a list, I would call them up, we would grab a cup of coffee, we would go get lunch, we would do something. I would go to that entire list and then I would be done. I'll find something else to do. But since I don't know who they are, I got to keep coming up. I got to keep showing up. I got to keep talking. I got to keep sharing. Since I don't know who I'm supposed to impact. But what about us? How do you show up? Not everybody may be on stage, and that's fine. But there's somebody still looking for you to show up. When are we going to realize how important that is? I take it to heart. Encouragement. I take it to heart. Showing up for folks. I take it to heart. Because I know for a fact that somebody is listening for what it is I'm saying. Somebody needs it so bad. And again, I realize God has given me something to share with the world. Who am I to say, well, I'm not tall enough? That's a joke, by the way. Thank you, Terry. Just a little sidebar. In fact, when I went to Africa, my nickname was Giraffe. I kid you not. Too funny. But I can't let anything keep me because it's too important. You talked about commitment, consistency, success, but that's what the legacy part is. What are you known for? If I were to say the name Michael Jackson, immediately you think of music. If I were to say the name Michael Jordan, immediately you think of basketball. They are legends in their own right. But their legacy was cemented in their success. The success came as a result of their consistency, even after being cut from his high school basketball team. But that consistency grew out of a round of commitment. So my question to you is, what are you committed to? Or better yet, what do you want your legacy to be? I mean, since the end goal is legacy, what do you want to be known for? When people mention your name 100 years from now, what do you want them to think about? Say, what is it that you want to be known for? If that's your legacy, you need to get successful at doing something. Because only you get successful at it is that you consistent. That consistency won't stay if you're not. So many of us in this room have so much to offer. So many of us in this room are shrinking and shying away from the thing that's going to take us to where it is we're supposed to be. So many of us in this room are afraid of what somebody else would think or say about us. Yeah. And yet we're still sick in the prison of unfulfillment, in the prison of mediocrity, just so nobody sees us, nobody calls us. It's not even about that. It's not even about that. Again, I'm not doing this for myself. Les Brown said that the number one fear in the world is public speaking. I am quick to tell people, I'm afraid not to. The reason I'm afraid not to is because I realize I've been given something valuable. It wasn't just for me. So any opportunity I get, any chance I get to talk to somebody, any chance I get to actually have a conversation with somebody, any chance I get to pour into somebody, I do it. All this knowledge, all this insight, all of this, none of it is supposed to stay in here. In my book, I wrote my fifth book, by the way, Leadership That Lasts. I talked about, thank you. I talked about leadership starts on the inside, but it doesn't stay there. Leadership starts on the inside, but it does not stay there. Because when you realize what you've been given and what you have, you cannot keep it to yourself. Somebody once told me that the sin of the desert is not telling people where water is. If you have the answer, if you have the solution, if you have a way out for somebody, and you keep it to yourself, it's messed up. It's messed up. All of us have something we have to offer. All of us have something that we can give. The question is, are we going to do that? Because you talked about becoming. That was over here. The best was here. And I'm going to finish with this. If I ask everybody in this room, do you love yourself? Most people say yes. Most people say yes, I do. I love myself. Some of y'all will question your response. We sometimes think so little of us. And I know, I get it, because I've been there myself. You know everything, most of the bad things about yourself. God knows everything about you. He still loves you, by the way. He knows everything about you. He still loves you. That, believe it or not, that deserves a round of applause. But when it comes to you, we will tear ourselves down. We can be our own best friend or our own worst enemy. Yes, sir. But if you realize that even you standing in the way of the gifting that God is giving you to give to somebody else, that's a travesty as well. It's not just about what other people want to say about you. It's not just about what other people are going to try to do to hold you back. What are we doing to ourselves? When we're so self-centered, when we're always just focusing on us, we can't see the people we're supposed to help. We can't see the ones that are looking for us, the ones that need us, the ones that wants to be encouraged by us. We can't see them because we're always just looking at ourselves. And when I say looking, I'm not talking about in a way to be better. We are criticizing ourselves. We're tearing ourselves down. We're saying, I don't have enough. I can't do enough. I'm not worthy enough. What am I going to do? How am I going to accomplish this? But when you realize that the gift you've been given is more than just for you, when you realize the difference that you have, that you can make in the life of somebody else, all of those little hang-ups, you'll find a way to get past it, even if it's your fear. I used to tell people, I look for fear. And I'm going to grab it by the throat, and I'm going to drag it to where I'm supposed to be. Because when you realize how important it is, that what it is you have, you cannot just let any hang-up stop you. I had a chance to speak in Africa last month, actually. And I was interviewed by Jeff is the consummate hype man. And I had the chance to do an interview with a video production company. And they created this amazing scissor reel. I was like, I would hire this guy when I saw the reel. But then I shared about the importance of seeing your value and what value your value brings. Seeing your value and what value your value brings. Because if you don't see your value, if you don't see how valuable that cup of water is to somebody that's dying of thirst, you'll spill it, you'll waste it, pour it out. You'll use it to clean up your tennis shoe instead of going to the person that needs it the most. We spend so much time tearing ourselves down, so much time saying what we can't. We spend so much time not realizing that we have the answer to people's problems. We have a chance to make a difference in the lives of those that we've been called to serve. But if we don't, if that doesn't register with us, what it does, it puts us in a place and in a position to where we're not happy, we're not fulfilled, the world is not better. The gift that you have, what it is you can do, what it is you're good at, what it is you've been called to, is needed today, right now, more than ever. And I don't care what you've been telling yourself. I don't care what story you've been actually feeding yourself. You need to rewrite the story you've been telling yourself. You need to realize that somebody somewhere is crying because you haven't showed up. They're in pain because you haven't stepped out. They're upset because you haven't made your podcast or written your book, or wrote your play, or fried your chicken, whatever it is you've been given to do. They are somewhere eating bad chicken because you don't want to go in the kitchen. You don't want people talking about you. There's someone looking at a jacked up yard because you don't want to grab a lawnmower and go out there and cut grass. You've been given a gift. And that's the problem. I got to get down there because some of y'all looking. You've been given a gift, sir, to give to the world. Do not go to your grave with that gift. And even if you say, I'm too old, you're not. As long as you're breathing. I heard this one coach say, those that can't do, teach. If you can't do it anymore, fine, instruct somebody. Show them how to do it. Show them it can be done. Give them an example that they won't forget. Dr. Ruben West told me this, and I'm going to close. He said, God is an experimental teacher. And I had to co-sign that because oftentimes we'll ask for stuff and we expect an answer, and God will take us through an experience. But why does he do that? Why does he do that? So that we don't forget. If I called out my phone number right now, in a year from now, ask you what it was, some of y'all probably wouldn't remember. But because of this skill, because of the experience that you've got, because of some of the things that I've shared with you, you're looking at yourself different. You realize that somebody is looking for me, somebody is dependent on me, someone can benefit from me. And some of them, I don't even know who they are. So when we understand that, we don't stop. We don't get sidetracked. Yeah, we may stumble, we may fall, but we get back up. Because again, until you know who you are, anything is. But once you know who you are, how valuable you are, how talented you are, how gifted you are, how blessed you are, how incredible you are, how amazing you are. Once you know that, once you really embrace that, again, nothing can stop. Listen, my name is Sakoni Prince of SakoniPrince.com, where we make motivation personal by introducing you to yourself. And I want you to know that nothing can stop you. You're all the way up.
I got what you need. Show you what you want. I got what you need. I'm all the way up. I'm halfway up. Everybody say I'm all the way up. I can't hear you. Let's put our hands together again for Sakoni Prince. I keep on speaking. At the BTBY. Right, all right. I don't know about you guys, but I have been making good use of my note sheet, right? So I hope that you're grasping these nuggets of wisdom. The thing that I got from Sakoni just now was, what's the value of your value? That's some good stuff. Now we're going to keep this evening moving because we are going to be quickly transitioning in just a bit to our evening gala. But before we go, we are going to have the opportunity to hear from none other than Dr. Herbert Monroe. Now I have to tell you guys, my BTBY family, this is my family from back home, all the way from Virginia. So I want you to make sure you know well. This evening, we are going to hear from Dr. Herbert Monroe talking about building life champions. Ladies and gentlemen, on your feet and give a round of applause to my friend, Atina Tucker and Taylor. They're all around great guys out here.
the west side. So I need to know my story and I listen, everybody. I know it's late today, and we've been blessed with all of the messages. I am Herb Monroe, and it is a plum pleasing pleasure to be here for you today in KC. Now, I'm an educator, so I want to see if I have everybody's undivided attention. So I need everybody to stand up real quick, and I need you to put your hands just like this. Now I want you to put your hands like this, because we're gonna clap. Now I'm gonna say it in English, and I'm gonna see if everybody's paying attention. People in the back, people in the front, side to side. When my hands cross like this, y'all gonna clap. Does everybody know what you're supposed to do? Clap. Are we ready? Are we ready? Here we go. Here we go. Wait a minute. So I'm saying in English, right? I said, when my hands cross, you are going to clap. Y'all need to come a little closer. I am on the stage now. I can see if I was down here. I'm not like Sakoni. I'm not 6'2". I'm 5'2".
6'4".
All right, so I'm gonna step back up one more time. One more time so you can see. All right, we're gonna get it this time, right? We're gonna get it this time. Here it comes. Here it comes. Teamwork makes the dream work. We gotta do this together. That's all right. We're gonna come back to that. Have a seat. Have a seat. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you. Hopefully I have your attention because I have something very important to say. It is amazing that there are 3 stutterers. I was that black kid with an IEP, and both of my parents were principals. And my parents told me, they said, Herbie, because that's what they call me, Herbie. They said, that's right, y'all, my name is Herbie. You may look like a jockey in the Kentucky Derby. That's all right. That's okay, because I went to school anyway, you know, so I used to do that too. But the point I'm trying to make is this. Like Sakoni said, if you have something important to say, you'll figure out how to get it out.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I want to get out today. I just want to hopefully share some things that will motivate you, educate you, and inspire you. And I thank Brenda for allowing me to be a part of this team. So let's get started. Today, building life champions by creating a sense of belonging. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, we must go together, because teamwork does make the dream work. And as crazy as it is, you know, 2 of the safest places that we think of on earth would probably be the church and would probably be a school. And as an assistant superintendent, it is scary, because one thing that I preach all the time is we have to always remember to turn to each other and never on each other. Because if we can turn to each other and never on each other, we will be able to not only take ourselves, but take our kids where they need to go. So let's take a look at this. Let's go to the next slide. Anytime that I speak in front of a class, or I speak to teachers, or you know, I speak to anyone, I always like to have some norms, because I want this to be interactive. You're gonna be talking to the people sitting around you. So we're just gonna keep it quick and simple. You'll keep it short like me, right? We have to think before we act. And I tell my students, man, we gotta think before we act. We gotta think before we speak. And we don't need 20 class rules. Think is an acronym. And it's as simple as this. Is it true? I'm gonna tell y'all right now, everything that comes out of my mouth today is gonna come out of my mouth, but it's gonna come from my heart. And it's gonna be true, okay? Number 2, is it helpful? When you say things or you do things, we like to push people, but we also like to lift them up. That's how we grow, right? And we've been learning a lot about that. So anything that you say today is gonna be helpful. It's either gonna help you or it's gonna help somebody. Number 3, is it inspiring? The things that we say and the things that we do and the presence and the trends that we keep, we want to make people feel good. Everybody in this room, you want to make sure that if anybody has the opportunity to meet you, that you do something or you help them to feel something to make them feel better about themselves. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right. Number 4, now this one, I tell my 31-year-old daughter, she needs to use this one. Because there are a lot of things that come out of her mouth that's not necessary. All right. So is it necessary? There are some things that maybe we don't have to say, but there are also some things that we must say. Because like Sakoni just said, if we hold something in that someone else needs to be the best they can be, then it's on us. And last but not least is be kind. We're always going to be kind to one another because that's what we do. So those are our norms for the next 18 minutes. Okay? So I'm going to ask you a question. Some of y'all may be wondering, why do I have on this baseball jersey? Well, let's go to the next slide. You're going to interact with one another right now. The question is, how do you get a home run? Now, again, I'm a teacher, so we're going to do a protocol right now. What we're going to do is we're going to stand up, hand up, and pair up. And I want you to answer that question with the people sitting around you. So right now, everybody stand up, hand up, find somebody with their hand up, and answer that question. How do you get a home run? Go. All right. Look, I'm going to quiz the room right now. I'm going to start right here. All right, let's hear it. Let's hear what this pair has to say. How do you get a home run, Mr. Father? First, you got to show up. Oh, you're right. You got to be at the plate, right? You got to show up. So once we show up, what comes next? Hey, swing in the bat. Okay. Is it just swinging the bat? Is swinging the bat going to be enough? All right, and hit the ball. Let's get one more from the big man.
Yeah, make good contact. Swing all the way through.
Okay. All right, that works. Have a seat for a minute. Let me share something with you. The only way, and I'm going to repeat, the only way that you're going to get a home run is you got to swing for the fence. You got to swing for the fence. You don't need no training, but you got to swing for the fence. Folks, let me tell y'all a story. I was too tall to play basketball. I was a wrestler in college. Okay, I'm 55 years old right now, and I think I still got to take it down. But when I was 21, I ran the elementary wrestling camp at Lock Haven University, which is Miller, Pennsylvania. No one probably ever heard of it. But we know Lock Haven. But here's the thing. We were a school with 7,000 kids, but we were Division I. We were the only Division I sport at that school. We wrestled Penn State 30 miles west of us, Oklahoma, Nebraska, everybody else. Now, I'm saying this not to impress you, but to impress upon you this. When I used to run the elementary wrestling camp, I had kids in kindergarten through 5th grade that their parents would drop them off at Lock Haven on a Sunday night, let them stay in college dorms until Thursday afternoon. That's crazy. But back then, back in the 80s when I was in college, that was a thing. And I used to walk these kids around. I used to make sure that they wouldn't put ice cream on their Fruit Loops in the cafeteria because they love that ice cream machine in the cafeteria. I used to have to change linens and pull teeth. But here's where the story starts. Every night when the kids went to bed, all the coaches would go out and we would have refreshments. Now, as a 21-year-old college student, I didn't have money to pay for refreshments because this is who had to pay for refreshments. See, all the coaches got together and we played wiffle ball during the day. And we would play wiffle ball, and what would happen is this. I was so quick that I would always outrun to throw to first base. So what did I do? I made contact and outran to throw to first base. Well, folks, I'm telling you right now, just getting on base is not going to be enough. Just making contact with the ball is not enough. In order for us to do the things that this organization is about right here, we got to swing for the fence. Because there's a lot of extraordinary people in the room. There are a lot of people that are extraordinary. But if we want to continue to take this thing to the next level, we got to swing for the fence. So let me tell you what happened. It was that one time in my college career where I stepped up to the plate. We could hear the kids coming back from lunch, and we were losing by 3 runs. Herbie walks up to the plate and bases are loaded. So what did I have to do? Yeah, see, this was the first time in my life that I was forced to do something other than just make contact with the ball. So I had no choice. I had no choice. I had no money. And all of my teammates were dependent on me, right? So what did I do? Well, let me just explain it to you, okay? In Lock Haven back then, we didn't have air conditioning in our gymnasiums. We had 2 levels. We had the lower level, the upper level, divided by a big rail that went around the gym, and we kept the doors open, and they had these big helicopter fans in the gym, right? So I just want to set it up for you. So I get to the plate, the pitch comes, and I swing so hard that I spin around and fall on my behind. So I get up, shake it off, and I'm telling I gotta do it, I gotta do it. So then the next pitch comes, it was a ball. Next pitch comes, I foul tip it. The next pitch comes, true story, you can check it out on my Facebook page. I swing, and not only do I make contact, I knock it over the rail, it goes through the corridor, and goes into the parking lot. No lie, no lie. And we won. And that night, I didn't have to pay for the refreshments. I'm not gonna tell y'all what kind of refreshments, but y'all can leave it up to yourself. But the moral to that story is, I would have never even attempted to swing for the fence if I wasn't forced to. So the first challenge that I want to give everybody out today is don't wait until you have to swing for the fence. Let me say it again. Don't wait until you have to swing for the fence. You need to swing for the fence every time the good Lord rises you up in the morning and starts you on your way. That's right. Okay? Because guess what happened after I hit my first home run? Well, believe it or not, every time I stepped up to the plate, I swung for the fence after that. And I hit several home runs that summer and the summer after and the summer after. So folks, the way you hit a home run is you swing for the fence. Now, I got some things that I always say to all my people back in the VA, and I'm gonna tell you this. I need y'all to repeat after me. Never say can't. Never say can't. Say not yet. Not yet. But soon. But soon. With practice. With practice. Never say can't. Never say can't. Say not yet. Not yet. But soon. But soon. With practice. With practice. Folks, I have that up in my office, and when I started teaching in 1991, I hung that in my classroom. Because we don't want to hear what you can't do. We want to build capacity to help you to do things that you didn't think you could do. And that's our job. That's what all of us in this room are called to do. The next one says, teamwork makes the dream work. Well, what I've done is I've defined these, because when you start at the top and say, never say can't, say that yet, but with practice, it is our, not mine, but it is our ability to listen and connect with all people, building positive relationships, regardless of circumstances or backgrounds. That's what that's all about. When you talk about teamwork makes the dream work, it is our ability to ensure collaboration, communication, connection, and care through building trust and respect. We call those the 4 C's. And the next thing that I'm going to talk about, I think is the most important. It's called a sense of belonging, which is our ability to make sure people feel physically, socially, emotionally safe, knowing they are valued, empowered, and are learning. So let's go to the next slide real quick. I'm safe. I appreciate the participation. But what I want to share with you is take a picture of this, write it down. These are the 5 pillars of creating a sense of belonging. All of us need to create environments, places, and safe spaces where, 1, people feel safe. And that's just not physically safe, that's socially and emotionally safe as well. You know, we talked about stuttering, right? I played drums and I was a severe stutterer. I was captain of the wrestling team, but we used to have to read Moby Dick when I was in 11th grade. And if y'all read that story, that book is this thick. But the problem with that is back then we sat in rows, and because I was a stutterer, I would count the people in front of me, and I would count the paragraphs, and I would start rehearsing. And I would, and my heart would beat, my palms would sweat, and then guess what I would do? I would take my drumstick out of my book bag, poke the girl in front of me so I could get what?
Trouble get sent out of class.
Get sent out of class, because the captain of the wrestling team, the drumline captain, didn't want to be embarrassed in front of his friends. See, I didn't have the courage that Saucony had back in the day. I ran away from my problems. I had trouble facing them. So I would find a way out. So as an educator now, we talk about how to create social and emotional safety so that everybody's emotionally safe, because that's just as important as being physically safe. Let's look at value. Value. How many people want this $20 bill right here? Cool, cool. Now, if I would have balled it up, how many people would still want it? If I throw it on the ground and step on it, how many people would right? You're right, right? But what's the moral of the story? No matter what condition it is in, it still has the same what? It still has the same value, right? Think about it this way. Parents send us the best they have, right? Right? We may be a little messed up sometimes. We may be a little crumbled up, but you still have the same value. Keep that in mind. Number 3, empower. We need to give people voice and choice in our organizations to make sure that they know that they're a meaningful part of our organization. We can't do everything for everybody. We need to create environments where we allow those 4 C's so that the teamwork will make the dream work. The next one is learning. I am here taking notes. I am recording things on my phone. I am emailing myself because I'm going to take back all of the things that I learned from you all, and I'm going to take them back to Sweet Carolina, VA. Okay? So we have to model being lifelong learners so that we can continue to grow. And last but not least, the most important pillar is we have to create environments. If we want people to be innovative, outside the box thinkers, creative, we have to create an environment where people can make mistakes without losing their dignity. We win. Because once you create those kind of environments, people will step up to the plate and swing for the fence every time. Every time. So we have to also, in our work, create that sense of belonging. Now, let's go to the last slide. Or maybe the next to the last slide. I told you all earlier today that it is time for us to meet our garden. We know we got things in our gardens that are beautiful, that are working well, and as we say, are tight and right. But we also know that in our garden, we have some things that need a little TLC, need a little nurture, need a little loving to bring back, right? But the challenge I have for all of you today, what are you willing to weed out of your garden? It could be that person that you think is your friend, right? It could be those habits that you continue to do just because it's easy to continue to do. But what I want you to do right now is I want you to just take 3 seconds. What did we say? 3, 2, 1, grow? We heard that yesterday, right? Right? I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, and I want you to write down one thing that you're going to weed out of your garden. Okay? I had to weed some friends out of my garden recently because they said, Herb, you crazy, Doc. Doc, you crazy, man. You going to go all the way to KC, man, and you're not even getting paid or whatever. I mean, I'm like, man, look, I'm going to grow, brother. I am going to KC to try to discover something that I have not found yet. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I feel like y'all loved me before y'all even met me. The love that I felt walking into this place is amazing. And I'm gonna tell all of you all, I love all of you all.
All right then.
So 3, 2, 1, grow. I should see everybody's pencil, pen, thumbs. What are you going to get out of your garden to allow you to be the best you can be? Now, if you have trouble with this, you might need to think about your why. Because my why is right here in front of you. God knew not to give me any sons, so I had 4 daughters. Okay. I would have been, I don't know, they might not have survived. I might be in, I don't know, that might be locked up if I had sons. But I do have a grandson, a little guy in this desert. He's actually 4 years old right now, lives in Atlanta. Right? But make sure you understand your why if you're having trouble. And I'm gonna leave you with this. Swinging for the fence is not gonna be easy. You know, it's funny, yesterday we heard a lot of stories about mules and farmers and dogs, but guess what? I got one too to close us out. See, there was a story about a farmer and a mule, and this mule was walking across the pasture in Kansas City, and it was 108 degrees, like yesterday. And the mule walked past the well and looked down in it to get a drink of water. And then the mule went down a little deeper, and the mule fell down in the well and said, "Oh no, I've fallen in the well." And then the mule started praying or braying or praying or praying, whatever mules do when they fall in the well. And then the mule yelled up and said, "Farmer, please help me." And the farmer said, "Man, that mule eats all my oats, don't do any work. I got to clean up after that mule. Guess what? I'm going to bury that mule in the well." So what the farmer did was he went and got a shovel, went to the well, started shoveling, and started dumping food. Shoveling that dirt into the well. And the mule was about to panic. But then the mule decided he wasn't going to call Oprah. He wasn't going to call his mama. The mule said, "You know what? Every time that dirt hits my back, I'm going to shake it off and step up. Shake it off and step up. Shake it off and step up." And what the mule continued to do was to shake it off and step up. So what eventually happened to the mule? He stepped out of that well. And that's what I want to leave y'all with today. No matter how good we feel, no matter the gifts that we have, obstacles are going to come our way. And I just want you to remember to just shake it off and step up. Hey, that was a word from God. Peace. I love y'all. Thank you.
Oh, snap! Let's hear it again. Put your hands together. Well. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. We always say that we're becoming the best you. So folks all around the world, this is how we do it. You know, I had the amazing pleasure of flying in to the BTBY. I've had the amazing pleasure of introducing some folks. But today, I'm having the amazing pleasure of getting my dance on.
Let's go.
So I want you to welcome a man that's getting his dance on all around the nation. He is sharing his story. He is sharing his power. He is BTBY. Oh, y'all not here. BTBY. That's what I'm talking about. He is becoming the best him that he can be. So if you would, let me get some Stand to your feet. And God has freed the man that's done sin all around the nation and around the world. Can I have the real dancing trucker? Stand up, baby, and meet me on the stage. Bring it out, baby. Come on through. Everybody get to your feet and let's dance until the dancing truck. Bring it on up. Woo! Hey! Look at the person next to you. Go ahead. Feel the groove of the BTBY. BTBY! Come on, y'all ain't hear me. BTBY! That's what I'm talking about. So, those of you that's joining us virtually, get up on the seat and woo! Woo! All right. Y'all, this is something. Make sure you join us tonight. Woo! Bring it down. Woo! To the right. To the left. And do your best. Woo! All right. Here he is, baby. Come on up. Look at him go. Woo! All right. Sing it until he is born. Come on. Woo! All right, so I'm gonna move to the right, and he goes to the left. Let's go. Thank you so much for being here. You are just amazing. This tall glass of water has come here to give us a refreshing review of what it means to dance your way all the way through.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank you. That's right. Give it up for him.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you for being here. You have danced your way into the hearts of millions of people all around the world. And so at BTBY, we are always doing things to bring out the best stories. Now, some of them might be tough stories. Stories that make us cry, make us laugh, or make us dance. And your story, by far, is a story that touched my heart. And it made me smile, it made me cry, and it made me dance. You know, I lost my mother last year, and I understand what it's like, but you lost your mother in a horrific accident. And we want to hear from you. How did you make it through that and forgive and still love and still visit the folks that were a part in your mother transitioning from this world?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to do and accomplish right now is talk to you about overcoming and forgiveness. Those two words there. And on April the 26th, 2015, My loving Christian mother was on her way to church. 35-mile-an-hour zone, little quiet, quaint Kentucky neighborhood. She was 10 seconds from the front door of the church. And some young man just got in an argument with his girlfriend, was drunk out of his mind. And he hit her head on at 100 miles an hour.
Yep, we're here for you, brother.
Yeah, she didn't make it, y'all, so, you know, God wanted her by his side, so that's where she's at right now, you know, so, yeah, like I said, this young man was 21 years old, you know, so in Kentucky, killing someone drunk behind the wheel is murder. That's 25 years. So me and my sister cut him a break at 16. A couple years went by. We decided his first year of parole, after 4 years, we let him, he's a free man today because of forgiveness I gave him instantly. Yeah, so, you know, that's, you know, how can I survive? How can I move forward without forgiving, right? And it's not just words. I forgave him. I really forgive him. He's 21, he's still young. That's why my mother would want for this young man. I don't know what he's doing today. I don't know what choices he's making in his life. I have no idea. I can only hope and pray that my willingness to let him out early and compassion for his future, maybe he's doing the right thing.
Amen. Amen. So, open your eyes. You know, they say that our eyes are what?
Windows to our soul.
Are the windows to our soul. And under your eyes, you have two tags that really stand out to me. But you also have the butterfly that allows us to change and become better. You have the rose. You're giving people their flowers while they can smell them. But I see faith standing out. Tell me about your faith and what type of faith it took to having this person to say, I'm going to share the love of God with you. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly that. I was raised in the church, went to church 3 times a week. You know, that's a lot to go to church, but thank you, Mama, for dragging me to church, taking me to church, sending me down, listening to the word and the worship of all the great music being sung. And that's what got me through was my faith. That was it. That was it, you know. Yeah.
That's
you know,
right.
Yeah, and how can we get better? Some of you all out here right now is relating with me. Someone out here suffered through a tragedy, had a loved one die unexpectedly. Can you blame God? Can you say, why me? Why God? No, I've never did that for a second. Not for a second did I ever blame God. It was time. It was time. God is still good. No matter what happens in my life, unfortunately, he's still good. He's still good.
And faith and sharing and love and grace and mercy is a part of what BTBY is about. Those are just a few words when we talk about BTBY. But I want to know what compelled you to be BTBY.
What compelled me? Brenda reached out to me. Thank you, Brenda. And I'm terrible with names. I'm fat to say Barbara and embarrass myself, but Brenda, yes. So yeah, I mean, you know, she reached out to me, wanted me to be here, and you know, anytime I can share my story and maybe dance a little bit. And, what a wonderful hotel, and You know, my bed's nice and comfy, the pillows are nice and soft, so yeah, great. We're living good here.
So what would you share to all the BTBYers all over the world? Because we're everywhere. We're in the UK, we're in Germany, we're in the United States, we're everywhere. What would you share to those that are BTBYing, and why should they BTBY?
Yeah, I mean, becoming the best you, you know, I think I'm kind of a small example of that, you know. Not letting tragedy ruin your whole life. You know, not letting unfortunate things that happen in your life get you stuck. Man, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, that you use me, a dancing trucker who looks like I like. I know this is self, right? I put the tattoos on me, but it is what it is. But to use someone that looks like me, he's using me. He's using me. I mean, I'm not going to brag. I don't even like talking about all the influence I have worldwide. You know, because it's not about me. You know, the tall guy before me was. Yeah, man. I cried when he was up here talking, because it's not about, this ain't about me. Again, I'm gonna repeat what everyone has said. This is not about me. This is about you, right? Me putting a smile on your face. You know what I'm saying? But of course it helps me too. But man, just just keep moving forward, and I don't know, find your passion, find your purpose, and find your passion, find your purpose, and keep moving forward. Don't let nothing stop. Be unstoppable, like Mr. Terrence.
Give me a beat! Give me a beat! You give me what? Let's get some music. Start. You got your crown on your head, you're leading with love, and you're leading with dancing. So keep your dancers right off the stage. Let's go! Let's go! Stand to your feet! Stand to your feet! Woo! Come on, everybody, get on your feet! You got on your feet, let's go! Woo! 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 Hey! Oh, yeah! Now, if you like what's happening, come on up to the stage. Come on, get on up here. I want you right in front. Don't be scared. Don't be shy. Come on. Let's do it. Woo! We got the dancing structure in the house. You coming through? Woo! Let's get it! Let's get it! Let's get it! Woo! Woo! You need to shake this with your face. Who are you? Because it comes the
Let's give it up for the dancing trucker. So listen, before we want to let you know, even though you already have put a crown on your head, we want to give you a crown for your heart. The service and you do it because you know that you're making a difference
And because of that,
Amen.
Give it up to him.
we told y'all that this was not a conference, it's a what? We told y'all it's not a conference, it's a what? We told y'all to say the conference is a what? Have you experienced something today? Did you experience something today? Clap your hands. All right. Well, we're not done. This is just the afternoon, but we're about to get it cracking in about 90 minutes. Come back in here looking fly, looking ready for the black tie event. We got a lot happening tonight. We've got.
Is this one working or is that one working? I think this one's working.
Let's give it up for DJ Brian. He has been keeping us rocking and doing the thing all week long, all weekend long. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, now this one feels too powerful. Boy, got another DJ voice going on. All right. So we want you to come back. We've got our comedian tonight. We've got our awards tonight. We've got DJ Brian. He's going to be back here in the place, but it ain't going to be a party if y'all not here. So hashtag BTBY. BTBY. All right, we'll see you back here at 6:30.